Your son prefers me, Patricia declared, setting down her wine glass with a self-satisfied smirk. He always has, ever since he was little. I'm his mother, after all. The words hung in the air like poison at our weekly family dinner, but I kept my expression neutral as I cut into my chicken. My name is Sophia, and at 35, I'd spent the last decade navigating the treacherous waters of my relationship with my mother-in-law, Patricia Martinez. She'd made it her mission to remind me at every opportunity that I was an outsider in her perfect family dynamic with her son, Michael. Mom, that's not true, Michael protested weakly, but Patricia waved him off with a practiced flick of her hand. Oh, honey, remember last week when you chose to help me with my garden instead of going to Sophia's art exhibition? Actions speak louder than words. She threw me a triumphant glance across the dining table. I took a slow sip of water, thinking about the leather-bound diary hidden in my tote bag. The one I'd discovered 3 days ago while helping Patricia clean her attic. The one she had no idea I found, let alone read. Actually, I said carefully, Michael and I are hosting a family reunion next month. We'd love for you to help with the planning, Patricia. Her eyes lit up at the prospect of taking control, just as I knew they would. Well, of course, dear, you'll need my help to make it perfect. You know how particular our family is about traditions. Our family. The phrase made me want to laugh, considering what I'd read in that diary. The diary had been tucked away in an old hat box, buried under yellowing newspapers from 1993. I'd only found it because I'd accidentally knocked over the box while reaching for Christmas decorations Patricia had insisted we needed to sort through in the middle of summer. The first entry was dated June 15, 1993. I can't keep lying to everyone. James isn't Marcus's father. I don't know how much longer I can keep this secret, but I have to. The truth will destroy everything. Marcus, Michael's father, had passed away 5 years ago, never knowing the truth about his parentage. Patricia had built her entire identity around being the perfect Martinez family matriarch, keeper of traditions and bloodlines. But her diary told a different story. Sophia? Michael's voice pulled me back to the present. You okay? You seem distracted. I smiled at my husband, the man who'd always stood by me despite his mother's constant undermining. Just thinking about the reunion, I said truthfully, there's so much to plan. Patricia launched into a detailed analysis of what we'd need to do, where we'd gone wrong with previous gatherings, and how she'd help us avoid embarrassing the family name. Each time she emphasized family, I thought about the diary entries that would shatter her carefully constructed facade. We'll need to display the family photos, Patricia insisted. The ones showing 4 generations of Martinez men. It's important to remember our heritage. I nodded, thinking of the photo she prized most. The one of Marcus as a baby with his father, the man who, according to the diary, wasn't actually his father at all. And of course, she continued, we'll serve traditional Martinez family recipes. Sophia, dear, I know you try, but you never quite get them right. Let me handle the cooking. Michael squeezed my hand under the table, his usual response when his mother criticized me. But this time, I didn't eat his comfort. I had something more powerful than Patricia's barbs. I had the truth. As we cleared the dishes, Patricia cornered me in the kitchen. I know what you're trying to do, she said, her voice low. Hosting the reunion, playing the perfect daughter-in-law. But remember, I'm the one who raised him. I'm the one who knows all our family secrets. I met her gaze steadily. We all have secrets, Patricia. Some just take longer to come to light than others. Something flickered in her eyes, uncertainty, maybe fear, but it passed so quickly I might have imagined it. She patted my cheek condescendingly. Oh, sweetheart, you really should learn your place in this family. As we drove home that night, Michael apologized for his mother's behavior, as he always did. I don't know why she's like this with you. She wasn't always so controlling. I thought about the diary entries describing a young Patricia, terrified of losing her position in the prestigious Martinez family, desperate to keep her secret. People do extreme things to protect what they think they might lose, I said. What do you mean? He asked. Nothing specific, I replied, patting my bag where the diary sat. Just something I've observed. By the way, I have some ideas for the reunion. I think it's time we did things a little differently. Michael smiled, clearly relieved I wasn't upset by his mother's behavior. Whatever you want, honey. It's about time we made some changes to these family traditions anyway. If only he knew just how many changes were coming. I had a month to prepare for the reunion, and I intended to use every day of it. Patricia had spent 30 years building her life on secrets and lies, using them to maintain her control over the family. She thought she was untouchable, the keeper of family traditions and secrets. But as I learned from her own written words, the biggest secrets have a way of coming out, especially when someone knows exactly where to look. The family reunion wouldn't just be about displaying old photos and serving traditional recipes. It would be about truth, long buried but finally ready to see the light of day. I just hoped Michael would understand why I had to do this. Some truths hurt, but lies poison entire generations. It was time for the Martinez family to face reality, whether Patricia was ready or not. That night, I stayed up late reading more of the diary entries, each page revealing new layers of Patricia's deception. The truth about Marcus's father was just the beginning. There were other secrets, other lies, all carefully maintained to preserve her image as the perfect Martinez matriarch. The family reunion was exactly 1 month away. Patricia had no idea that her careful house of cards was about to come crashing down, and I would be the one to blow it over. Over the next few weeks, I meticulously planned every detail of the reunion while Patricia hovered, criticizing and correcting my every decision. Each time she insisted on doing things the Martinez way, I thought about the diary safely stored in my home office. Those centerpieces are all wrong, Patricia declared, rearranging the flowers I'd selected. Martinez gatherings always have red and gold, our family colors. She paused, looking at me pointedly. But of course, you wouldn't understand the significance. I kept arranging the white and silver decorations I'd chosen. Actually, I've been doing some research into family history. Did you know the original Martinez family colors were white and silver, back in 1960? Patricia's hand froze mid-arrangement. That's not possible. We've always used red and gold. No, I said quietly, you started using red and gold in 1993, right after you married Marcus. The color drained from her face, but she quickly recovered. You're mistaken. Now about the seating arrangements, but I wasn't mistaken. The diary had detailed how Patricia had systematically changed family traditions after her marriage, erasing the old to establish her new narrative. The colors, the recipes, even the family prayers, all modified to hide her deception. One afternoon, while Patricia was instructing the caterers on her version of traditional family recipes, I received an unexpected visitor. Anna, Marcus's elderly aunt, had seen the reunion invitation and wanted to help. Those recipes Patricia insists on, Anna said, shaking her head, they're not even Martinez family dishes. Our real family recipes were different. She pulled out a weathered cookbook. I found this recently. It belonged to Marcus's grandmother. I carefully opened the cookbook, discovering pages of handwritten recipes that bore little resemblance to Patricia's traditional dishes. Another piece of evidence supporting what I'd read in the diary. Patricia changed so much when she married Marcus. Anna continued, her eyes distant. We all thought it was strange, but she was so insistent about everything being proper and traditional. Marcus just wanted to make her happy. I made copies of the original recipes, tucking them away with my other discoveries. The truth was building, piece by piece. Michael noticed my increased interest in family history but interpreted it as enthusiasm for the reunion. Mom's really getting to you with all this tradition stuff, huh? He teased one evening. I just want to understand everything properly, I replied, studying a photo of young Patricia with Marcus. In the picture, her smile seemed strained, her eyes watchful. Now I knew why. The diary entries from that period were particularly revealing. Marcus talks about having children. He's so excited to pass on the Martinez family legacy. If he only knew. But I've come too far to turn back now. This has to work. I've made sure all traces of the truth are gone. But Patricia hadn't eliminated all traces. Her own words, written in moments of late-night guilt and fear, had survived to tell the real story. A week before the reunion, Patricia arrived unannounced at our house, carrying boxes of old photos. These need to be displayed prominently, she insisted, especially this one of Marcus with his father. I watched her carefully arrange the photos, noting how her hands trembled slightly when handling certain ones. Did she ever look at these pictures and see not treasured memories, but evidence of her deception? You know, I said casually, I found some interesting old family documents while preparing for the reunion. Would you like to see them? Patricia's head snapped up. What documents? Oh, just some old records. Family histories. Diaries. The color drained from her face for the second time that month. Diaries? It's fascinating how much family history can be preserved in writing, don't you think? She gathered her things quickly after that, making excuses about a hair appointment. As she hurried out, I called after her, "Don't forget, I'm making a welcome speech at the reunion. I've discovered so many interesting family stories to share." That evening, she called Michael, complaining that I was interfering with family traditions and needed to be stopped. Michael, as usual, tried to mediate. "Mom's just protective of family traditions," he said after hanging up. "Maybe we should let her handle the reunion her way." I took his hand, looking into his worried eyes. "Trust me, Michael. Everything I'm doing is for the good of this family. Some traditions need to be examined in the light of truth." He looked confused but didn't press further. My husband's trust in me would be tested soon enough. As the reunion drew closer, Patricia's attempts to control the event grew more frantic. She called daily with demands and changes, each one aimed at maintaining her version of family history. But with every call, every visit, every criticism, I stood firmer in my plans. The diary's final entry, dated just weeks before her marriage to Marcus, read, "Tomorrow I become Mrs. Martinez. Everything is arranged perfectly. No one will ever know the truth. This is my family now, and I'll do whatever it takes to keep it that way." But Patricia's time of keeping secrets was coming to an end. The reunion was 3 days away, and I had prepared everything. The original family recipes, the old photographs I'd discovered in Anna's attic, and most importantly, the truth that would finally set this family free from decades of lies. I just hoped that when the dust settled, there would be something left to rebuild. The day of the reunion arrived bright and clear. Family members from across the country gathered in our backyard, which had decorated with the original white and silver colors. Patricia arrived early, her face tight with anxiety as she surveyed my arrangements. "It's not too late to fix this," she hissed, clutching her purse. "We can still do things the proper way." I smiled calmly. "Everything is exactly as it should be, Patricia." The afternoon progressed with traditional Martinez family warmth, children playing, adults catching up, and endless plates of food being passed around. I prepared both Patricia's versions of the family recipes and the original ones from Anna's cookbook, labeling them New Tradition and Classic Tradition. When I noticed several elderly relatives tearing up over the classic dishes, saying they tasted just like their mother's cooking, Patricia's face went pale. Finally, it was time for my welcome speech. As I stood up, holding the leather-bound diary, Patricia's eyes fixed on it with recognition and horror. "Family means everything to us Martinezes," I began, watching Patricia grip her wine glass tightly. "It means love, acceptance, and most importantly, truth." I pulled out the old cookbook Anna had given me. I spent the last month discovering our real family traditions, the original recipes that somehow got lost. I paused, meeting Patricia's desperate gaze. The true stories that shaped who we are. Patricia stood abruptly, but Anna gently pulled her back down. "Let her finish, dear," Anna said firmly. 30 years ago, I continued, this family welcomed someone who was afraid. Someone who thought she had to create perfect new traditions to be accepted. Someone who didn't realize that love doesn't require perfection. Understanding began to dawn on several faces, including Michael's. Patricia sat frozen, tears streaming down her face. "Patricia," I said softly, "you didn't need to change everything about yourself or this family to belong. You didn't need to hide the truth about Marcus's father or create new traditions to cover old pain. You were enough, just as you were." The gathered family members exchanged shocked looks, but I noticed something surprising, not anger, but compassion, especially from the older generation. "I found your diary," I explained gently, "but I'm not here to expose or hurt you. I'm here to say that it's time to let go of the lies. Time to be free." Patricia buried her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. Michael moved to comfort his mother, but Anna beat him to it. "Oh, Patricia," Anna sighed, embracing her. "We've known for years. Marcus knew too at the end. He loved you anyway." Patricia's head snapped up. "He knew." Anna nodded. "He said love makes its own family, blood or not. He chose you, chose to be your son's father. That's what really matters." The tension slowly dissolved into tears, hugs, and long overdue conversations. Older family members shared stories of the real Martinez traditions. While younger ones marveled at the authentic family recipes, Patricia, still shaking, finally turned to me. Why? She whispered. Why didn't you use this to destroy me, after how I've treated you? I took her hands in mine, because that's not what family does. Real family accepts, forgives, and grows together. I learned that from the Martinezes, the real ones, not the perfect image you tried to create. Michael wrapped his arms around both of us. Mom, he said softly, I love you. Nothing changes that. But maybe it's time to let go of trying to be perfect and just be real. Patricia nodded slowly, decades of tension visibly leaving her shoulders. The real recipes are better anyway, she admitted with a weak smile. I never could get them quite right. As the sun set on our gathering, the family had transformed. Gone was the rigid adherence to Patricia's invented traditions, replaced by a genuine celebration of both old and new. Children ran around learning original Martinez games, while Patricia, finally relaxed, shared stories of her own childhood. You know, she said to me later, as we cleaned up together, I think I've spent so long being afraid of losing this family that I forgot how to actually be part of it. I handed her a plate to dry. Well, now you can start fresh. No more perfect Martinez matriarch, just Patricia. Exactly as you are. She paused, then said quietly, Thank you, Sophia, for finding a way to tell the truth that didn't break us. Looking around at our family, because they were truly ours now, bound not by blood or perfect traditions, but by love and acceptance, I knew that sometimes the happiest endings come not from keeping secrets, but from having the courage to face them together. The diary sits in our family library now, along with Anna's cookbook and albums full of both old and new photos. They tell the real story of the Martinez family, not perfect, not always traditional, but always, always real. And Patricia? She's finally learned that being a true Martinez has nothing to do with blood or carefully maintained images. It's about love, acceptance, and the courage to be authentically yourself.